Good evening, everyone. So I wanted to do this video I saw this gentleman here, and I can't remember his name because it's Italian, the Interior Minister Matteo Salvini. And I saw him do an interview earlier today, and I'm going to read the interview out for you, but I want to show you how messy this is going to get and what the tactics are going to be. It's already happening in Canadian media. We're already seeing the leading stories and the shaping of international discussions framed in a pro-globalist light, right? Like everybody, if you don't believe in increasing refugees or increasing immigration, or if you don't believe that migrants are the solution to every single Western problem, then you, sir, are a Nazi, or madam, you're a Nazi, and you should be dealt with as such, like punched or roundhouse kicked, right? According to the media, that's what I've seen anyway. The blue check marks on Twitter believe that they have a right to and a responsibility to tell all us ne'er-do-wells who dare to question immigration how awful we are and how racist we are. But it's just not true. It's just not true. And so all that slanted reporting I'm going to show you here and kind of give you a primer on what's going on. So Italy threatens to shut airports over migrant, quote, charter flights. Italy's far-right Interior Minister Matteo Salvini threatened Sunday to shut the country's airports after media reported that Germany planned to send chartered flights of rejected asylum seekers to Italy. I would imagine that rejected asylum seekers is something akin to illegal border crossers here. Anyway, back to the article. Quote, if someone in Berlin or Brussels thinks of dropping dozens of migrants via non-authorized chartered flights in Italy, they should know that there is not and there will be no airport available, Salvini said on Twitter. And the link is in the description. You can read the rest for yourself. I just wanted to give you a primer. Salvini is very clear. Italy is for Italians and not Africans and not other migrants. And the EU and the globalists are pushing back. And even from within Italy. He's the deputy PM. He's not the PM. But here's an independent article that says, quote, Italy is pushing Europe to the brink of another economic crisis, but its problems are nothing new. So because Italy is a member of the EU has lots of economic punishment tools it can bring to bear. And it's economic warfare. It's economic warfare is what's going on. So basically, if you don't play ball, we're going to tank your economy. And at this point, Italy's saying, well, if you tank our economy, at least we'll still be Italians. So we'll have Italy. And there's that. So that's a very short primer on what's going on. And I don't pretend to be an expert at this. I just think this speech is interesting. And I wanted to get you guys up to speed on at least the last couple of days of what's going on. So this is in Italian. I'm going to read it out. And I hope that I do it justice. So this is the deputy PM. I'll read the tweet, and then we're going to go into the deputy PM. At 1 minute, I'm going to do the whole 2 minutes, but there's a point in it where it says on the screen in a yellow text, it says globalist says, and then asks a question. I'll do my best to change my voice or make it obvious that it's somebody asking a question. You'll probably know, but I just thought I'd let you know. There's somebody asking a question, and then he responds. I'm going to do the whole thing. I think it's really important. This is a really important discord to note that other countries are having a really big problem with this too, and they're fighting back, and they're being branded alt-right for fighting back by the EU. So that's interesting to note. This is a fight. It's worldwide. I think they had a term for that at some point. I'm not sure. Okay, here we go. So, but you are right. Before talking, everyone should go and talk with these people to see where they eat, to see where they sleep, to see how they piss, and to see the mess they leave. Because then I leave, but the Italian citizens who live there are afraid to talk about it because they have to live with them for the entire year. And in Canada, the real refugees are, in the best case scenario, 10 out of 100. Because between the Ivorians and the former paramilitarians who fought a war in their nation, and now they want to fight the war in our nations. The earliest we send them home, the better for everyone. A concrete example, the mayor of Cadone, in the province of Treviso, they were asked to host hundreds of fake refugees. The mayor says no. In that building, I will place half a police force and half elders who can't afford a home. In Cadone, there are no migrants who break our balls, annoy us. But there are police forces and houses for elders. So, if we really want, we can help our citizens. Globalist. And the migrants all went to Caleta. The problem is not where they go. We send them a bit to Venice, a bit to Treviso, a bit to Rovigo. We send them all back to where they came from with the first plane we can find, all caps. We can't fill Italy with Africa, all caps. Africa doesn't belong in Italy. Africa doesn't belong in Italy. Africa doesn't belong in Italy. Also, I need to tell this beta leftist from Tuscany, the region that only votes globalist, go to Prato, there are no Italians. Go to the train station in Pisa, where there are no Italians. The problem isn't distributing them. So instead of only one person gaining money, more can gain from hosting migrants. The government pays. The problem is to take the women and the children who run from Syria, Iraq, and from war. Everyone else, don't send them to hotels. Send them back to their land to rebuild their nation. We have too many of them here in Italy. The point is not about spreading them around our country. The point is to send them back to where they came from. Okay, and that's the end of it. So I don't have a longer clip of this, and it was I saw it this morning, and I tagged it, but I didn't retweet it, so it didn't put it on my timeline. So finding it again was a heck of a time, I promise. So I couldn't find the further extended interview that had any kind of. I found the whole interview, but it didn't have any translations, and I'm not so great with the Italian. So it was interesting. It was an interesting interview. It's interesting to note that there are other countries dealing with this at exactly the same time we are, and the policies are being shoved down their throat by a central government that has nothing to do with the Italian government and who has nothing to do with seeing what's happening on the ground. It's such a strange departure from having borders and having a clear definition. If you watch the gumball or the gumball and migration video I did a couple of days ago, you can see that immigration does not solve any problems. You can't immigrate the third world out of being the third world. We can modernize, we can help them transition to capitalistic societies, but you can't just bring everybody to the West and say now you're Western. It doesn't work. Look at the hotels in Toronto, the Radisson East Hotel in Toronto. I mean, it's incredibly irresponsible for a government to be this tone deaf and continue with policies that are failing so badly on the ground. There's a war going on, whether people want to admit it or not. And there are people fighting back, and all over the world, people fighting to gain control of governments in order to allow mass migration. And we're being called racist if we talk about it. It defies reason. We need to talk about it. We need to decide as a nation. And in order to do that, we need to have as much information as possible. Anyway, thanks for watching. peoplespartyofcanada.ca